Good afternoon, everybody. Come on, I don't do the cheap applause. Miami, what's up? All right, there's a vibe. Listen, I thank everybody for coming. I thank my mentees for coming out. I thank you for supporting our amazing sponsor, Sway. I thank Sloan Academy. I thank all the team that made today absolutely possible. We got a treat today. And I'm really excited about the treat today. Now, I had to call my people. My people had to call some people to get these people out. Okay? So all the way from the Carolina, north and south, north. Oh, I gotta get it wrong. All right, gonna go. Listen, this is an amazing couple who's doing amazing things at real estate. I've known them since 2018. I showed them how to get one credit card on business funding, and then they just went goofy. And they have an amazing television show, playing, right? And Andy teaching and showing people and documenting the process of what they are doing in real estate. Now, y'all gave me a corny round of applause. It's okay. But for Dedric and Krystal Polite, can you please give them a warm welcome to the Execute Podcast? There you go. Careful, bro. Please don't make a viral moment to fall off the stage. All right, good. Excellent. He did good. Have a seat. Join us. I appreciate you. Thank you, Tony. All right, y'all guys. All my questions came from ChatGPT. Dedric and Krystal, thank you so much for coming all the way to Miami. I truly appreciate you. How are you guys doing?
Hey, we are excited to be here. It's good to see all these beautiful people. What's up, Miami?
Miami's feeling good. I could tell everybody was partying last night. Where my mentees at? What about Sloan Academy mentees? And man, we was in a sprinter drinking, having a good time. Now it's Sunday. I'm trying to find the Lord. But we're going to make it happen today. I thank you guys for coming. So we met almost 10 years ago, 2018, came to a class, we met, we built. Y'all took credit, y'all took business credit, and you guys are literally in the middle of building an amazing empire. While we was networking earlier, there's a couple people that pulled me to the side. It's like, I'm trying to get into real estate. I'm in mobile homes right now. And I know you guys are doing that too. But before we get there, right? Because everybody sees the results, they never see the journey. Let's go back 10 years. Let's talk about the journey of how you started this, how difficult it was, and how social media make this look easy, but it's really not. So talk to us about the beginning part of the situation.
So like you say, we started, 2016, we got into real estate, and we were students of the game. So Herbert is right. We literally flew out to Philly for a 3-day event, and we were out there and we were students. So we were learning from you guys on all areas of real estate. And for Dedric and I, like a lot of people, this was my husband's dream to get into real estate. It definitely was not mine.
Wow.
So he said, hey, I want to get into real estate. He kept talking about it. I was like, bro, like, I'm not a talker, I'm a doer. So he kept talking about, hey, yeah, I go to his house, he got books, he got CDs, he got VHSs, that should tell you how old we are. Whole library.
Right.
And then I got tired of hearing him talk about it. Yeah. So I was like, bro, we're gonna do this or what? So I ended up doing some research on my own.
I love it.
And found some people who were doing what he wanted to do. I started our company. I went and started the LLC, started finding the conferences and stuff that we could attend. And I like to tell people, before we ever did our very first real estate deal, we sat down and we said, we had a meeting. And I approach everything like a business meeting. I approached our first date, it was a business meeting. When we sat down first time, we had a conversation. And I said, what are your goals?
Did you ask him what he was bringing to the table?
I asked him, what are your goals? Short term, long term. Are you an entrepreneur? If so, okay, well, what have you done in the entrepreneurship realm? What's your credit score? Did you plan first date?
First date, what's your credit score?
What's your credit score?
Dang.
I asked him, do you plan on living in this state forever, right? How do you feel about entrepreneurs, kids, family history? Why? Because I didn't ask him what's your favorite food because I didn't plan on cooking it. Like, I didn't ask him about what's your favorite color, what do you like to do in the springtime. That was irrelevant to me. I wanted to know, can I build with him? And before you ask, if his credit score, now his credit score was an 812.
Hey.
We're not better.
Okay.
But I tell people, even if it was a 612, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have just showed me how we had to move going forward.
Y'all give it up for a good woman. Y'all give it up for a good one. Oh, you got standing ovation? Standing ovation? Y'all hear that? If he had a 612 versus an 812, you would have stuck around.
I'd have still stuck around, but it just showed me like, okay, we got a little bit more time. We got to build his credit up. We got to fix his credit. We got to do this so we ain't going to be able to make these moves immediately.
Right.
That's really what I was asking for. It wasn't to do a process of elimination. To me, it was, I know I'm an entrepreneur. So for me, it was, hey, is this someone who is equally yoked? Can I build with him? You don't have to bring anything to the table if we're gonna build the table together, right?
I love it.
So I'm not eliminating him. I just need to know, is this something that a journey we can get on together?
So D, there's two sides to every story. What the journey look like for you in the beginning? Like, did you check her credit score?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We started with the end in mind, guys. When I met her, it was refreshing to see a woman that was motivated and as driven and as ambitious as me. I know a lot of times fellas, used to being a breadwinner, paying for everything, but it's beautiful to have a woman that also you're equally yoked with. And that's what I found with my wife. We're in Miami, so you got all the glitz and the glamour and the booties. Y'all seen the booties out here?
Crazy.
Very distracting, right? For the fellas.
I thought mine was.
That's wild.
Can't nobody talk my baby.
That's wild.
But like I said, it was something about her that she was focused, and she wasn't about the bubble gum and the superficial stuff. And I was like, that's what I'm looking for in a wife. Now, was I ready to marry her when we first met? I was 28. And by the way, guys, I'm 43 today. It's my 43rd birthday.
Say happy birthday to G! So 43 shots is on deck. Thank me later.
When I was 25, I used to do about 25 shots and be out. I don't do that no more. I don't do that. But 43 today, super blessed. But it was just refreshing to find someone that was equally yoked, and we're building an empire together.
Like he said, he was not ready when we first got together.
Was he ready? He was in the streets. He was for the streets or in the streets? In the streets. Got it.
I understood that, and I do that. So when I met him, I said, take a year, go off, travel the world, party, sleep with girls, go get all of this out of your system for the next year. Come back and we'll revisit this.
I need every man to give her a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Krystal Polite.
She said we're gonna sow your royal oats, was her exact words.
Kidding me.
And I was like, are you serious? I'm like, do you really want me to go out there and live my best life? And she was like, yeah.
Wow, that's a whole nother podcast right there, right?
Yeah, that's counterintuitive.
I see a couple of women like, bullshit.
But I tell him, and I tell people when they hear our story, I like to tell people women are used to turning red flags green. Red lights green.
Right.
Versus saying, hey, this is a red light. How long would it take for it to be green? Can we turn it green eventually, right? I was meeting him where he was, not where I wanted him to be. And I knew that if this is something God ordained, which I knew it was, he's not gonna bless a mess. So at that time I said to him, you're not ready for me and where I'm at. And instead of me trying to make him ready,
got it.
even though I had already said when I met him, this is the man I'm gonna marry. I knew it immediately as soon as he's opened his mouth. I said, oh, this is the guy I'm gonna marry. But I also knew he was not where I was, and that was okay. So I told him, go off for a year, enjoy your life, have fun, come back in a year, and we'll revisit this, because I knew in order for us to go where I know God had me, my path plans, he needed to be ready. And I knew if I had forced him when he's still in the club popping bottles, holding him up on his social media, and things, I knew y'all was gonna work because I'm not the woman who's going to be able to sit by and let you play in her face.
Unless you lay in her face. Hold on a second, my producers are asking me a question. What happened? Okay, so they're asking, Krystal, what was you doing during that year when your man was in the streets? The producer just asked me. Go ahead. Go ahead. I got you. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
So, good question.
Good question.
So like I told him, nowhere in that story did y'all hear me say I was gonna wait.
Oh.
Right?
Oh. Yo, relax. You have to relax.
So, did I wait? No, I didn't wait around. Because he could have never came back. Right? But I told him to go off. In order to be with me, I needed him to get some stuff out of his system.
Right.
Now, I was still dating.
Right.
It wasn't no rain nowhere at the time. I mean, I was locked down.
Right.
But I was still dating. He came back around after a year. And I ghosted him because he tried to come back about 3 months early.
Nah, bro, 12 months.
And I said, a year. Come back in a year. So I ghosted him for another 2 months. Then he caught me at like 4 in the morning. Now, and just so y'all know, like I worked 3 jobs. I had no children.
Right.
When we're originally from Boston, so that's where we were.
Yeah.
I worked about 3 jobs. So I worked nonstop, and when I wasn't at work, I was at church. So my schedule, and then I was raising my nephew at the time. So my schedule was full, but I wasn't full, right? He could have just kept it moving. I was still exploring options.
Gotcha.
And here's how I knew she was the one. You talk to me. I was a young, eligible bachelor. Had my own house. I bought my first house at 25 with 3 family. Had a motorcycle, wore a suit and tie to work every day. I was doing it up. But when she went and told me to sow my real oats, which I did, I thought I was being punked. I was like, you sure? You sure? All right, went and did my thing. After I got that out of my system, I was ready in about 6-7 months. Like, all right, I'm ready for a relationship. And she did not answer my calls. She did not respond to my text. She literally ghosted me. And I'm like, damn,
I lost a good one.
I think I might have lost the one. So next thing you know, I'm outside her house. I'm in the bushes, seeing if she's home. I'm calling her, she ain't answer. I'm like listening by the door, and I've never done anything like this in life.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I'm going crazy. I must really be in love. And that's one of the signs I knew that she was the one.
This is amazing to have such a refreshing conversation about early relationships, especially with everything that we're seeing on Instagram right now. How long have you guys been married now?
9 years.
9 years, almost a decade. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's hard work. God bless you. God bless you. Now, I want to transition a little bit because I want to connect the personal side to what you have built and what you are building, right? We were talking a little bit earlier about balance, right? How many entrepreneurs do we have in the room? How many people got the LLCs, they running a business, they making money? All right. How hard is it, right? Or what tips can you give the people in the room before we get to the real estate stuff? How hard is it to produce a TV show, right? The film schedule, and actually have to do the work on your marriage, and still be parents to two beautiful children? How is that possible for you guys?
It is impossible, right? But you make the impossible possible when it's something that you want to do. And for us, just so you guys can understand, they were going to do a day in the life of my schedule on the show. And then Dedric sent them my schedule, and they was like, yeah, hell no. Because of what really happens in our day to day. So for us, just to give you an idea, we film 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. Then we also have 7 businesses, companies, seven companies that we are actively running. So we're not gurus, we're doers. We're actively in these businesses working. And then we have 2 kids, an 11 and a 7-year-old that are active in sports. So every weekend we're in a different state traveling the US because they do travel basketball and baseball and now soccer. And then they have school, right? And we're very active in that as well. So for us, it's all about boundaries. So when we first started the TV show, they was like, hey, it's only gonna be 2 to 3 days a week you'll film. Well, that 2 to 3 went to 5. Then they asked the very first time, hey, is it possible for you guys to film Saturday? And everyone who knows me know, typically I just give them a look, and it's just.
Absolutely not.
So then, never mind, it's polite, we're okay. Why? Because weekends are reserved for our children. So setting boundaries has been huge for us. I make sure I run my own schedule. That's why I got into entrepreneurship, because I wanted to own my own time. And I know a lot of people say, oh, I want $100 million. I want 500 million. I want to own my own time. I want to be able to come and go when I please. And I want to be able to do that freely with my children. So that's really what real estate has afforded us. And with the TV show on top of it, I've navigated where my schedule allows me to make sure anything I have to do, any meetings, anything I have to do is over by the time my kids get out of school. And the only way I'm taking a meeting afterwards, after 2, 3 o'clock, is if it's going to produce income. So if it's a meeting about money,
You gonna show up?
I'm in the bed.
I'm in the middle of it.
If we trying to talk about your feelings, my office hours are. That's it.
I love it. So T, I got a question for you, right? Let's get into real estate. Let's start talking about some money. Can we talk about your first real estate deal? Let's talk about the numbers, how you got it, how you exited, and one of the toughest lessons you learned when you guys first started real estate.
Yeah, real estate is what got us free. That's what got us a TV show. So my first real estate deal, I was 25. I was living in Boston. Grew up single parent household. Grew up in Section 8 housing. Got the lights turned off several times. Got evicted several times coming up. So no type of silver spoon. And I always wanted to own my own house. My mom worked for a property manager, right? He was the boss, but he wasn't teaching her how to be the boss. But she was instilling in her son, like, hey, one day you're gonna be the boss. You're gonna own this building. When I graduated college, my mom had set me up with a secure credit card. So when I graduated college, I had an 800 credit score. Because she was pouring into me like, hey, I want to make sure I set you up the right way. So I was 25 years old. I bought a triplex, a 3-family in Boston. This is the year 2007, 100% financed. I brought no money to the table to buy a 3-family for $400,000, right? 100% financed. I actually got a check back for $1,200 at closing. How did I do that? I read a book. It was how to buy houses with no money down and get cash back at closing. I read that book and I did exactly everything it said in that book. Talk about all those books in my library when you met me. And my lawyer told me it wasn't possible, the realtor told me it wasn't possible. Everybody's like, you can't do that. You can't buy a house and get paid to buy a house. I was like, it says it right here in this book. That's exactly what I did. I got back $1,200 when I bought my first house. 15 years later, I sold that property for double what I paid for. Paid $400, sold it for $800,000.
And you've been addicted ever since.
Been addicted ever since. So that was my first property, but my first wholesale deal. Has anyone ever heard of wholesale real estate? By show of hands. Anyone ever heard of wholesale? Okay, so a lot of you guys have heard of wholesale. So wholesale is one of the most beautiful things ever invented, right? Because I've never seen a way where you could make $10, $20, $30, $40,000 without being a drug dealer, right? Without flipping keys, but flipping a piece of paper. Literally getting a property under contract and then assigning your contract to someone else for a fee. That's how we got into real estate. Because again, after I bought my first property, I went to corporate America. I was working a job, working in 9 to 5. I was making 6 figures, but I hated it. I hated to have to ask for permission. I hated my wife working for someone else, right? I was like, we need to be free. That's what this country is about, freedom, entrepreneurship, opportunity. So she found our first wholesale deal on Facebook Marketplace. She found a seller who was selling their parents' house. The parents who passed away, the couple inherited the house. We ended up getting the property under contract for $54,000, and we wholesaled it to the guy who did our taxes. It was the husband and wife team who did our taxes. They bought rental properties, wholesaled to them for $65,000. So we made $11,000 on our first wholesale deal, and it was off to the races from there. That's absolutely ridiculous.
So are you enjoying this episode of the Execute podcast? Well, listen, this free game is just the taste. This episode is sponsored by the Bella Sloan Academy.
In the Bellastone Academy, we have so much more game. You wanna learn how to fix your credit? You wanna learn how to set up your business correctly? You wanna learn how to get funding for your business? We got you in the Bellastone Academy. And even more sauce. You wanna know how to market your business? We got you. You wanna know how to 10X your business? We got you. We wanna put you in position for the win. And listen, in the Bellastone Academy, we meet every single month. We have coaches that want to put you in position for the win. So click the link in the description and let's get back to this episode. I'll talk to you soon.
One of the easiest ways to get into real estate is actually wholesaling.
Absolutely.
Because I was going to get into it. I'm like, listen, everybody wants to get into wholesaling. Like I said, I talked to a couple of people who are in mobile homes right now. And one of the major things in getting into any business is capital, right? And that's where HaitianCEO comes into play, get you the business funding. But when you use that $11,000 you made, right? Did you flip that immediately, or did you go buy a bag?
Well, let's back up a little bit. Before we closed our first deal, I was trying to figure out wholesaling myself. I heard about it. I seen these dudes on YouTube making $1,000. Like, how the hell are these dudes flipping houses with no license, right? No cash, no credit. What the hell are they doing? I tried to figure it out myself, failed miserably, was about to quit. My wife, way more smarter than me, she was like, look, we need to hire a mentor. It's like, what you mean? She's like, we need to hire someone who's actually done this before so we can shorten our learning curve. I was like, that sounds expensive.
Message, you got yourself a mentor.
We got a mentor. So we literally, our first mentorship that we joined was a mastermind group. We spent $16,000 joining this.
Jesus.
We had not closed one deal. We had been trying for a year. We spent $16,000. Guess what? We didn't have the $16,000. Even though I was making $150,000 a year my job, we didn't even have $16,000 saved at the time, but we have business credit.
Hey.
We have business credit. This is the man for business credit. So we had a business credit card. We had a card for like, look, if you want to be successful with real estate, you need to join this mentorship. Everybody in this mastermind group is making 7 figures. They're full-time in real estate. And we looked at each other. We was like, this is what we need to do. Was I scared? Absolutely. She was ready to jump. I was like, 16,000? Damn, like, but I plunked down that business credit card, heart beating and everything, and that was the best investment I've ever made.
That's the investment you ever made. Congratulations. That's super dope. Thank you, Krystal. So this man, right, y'all together as a couple decided to spend this $16,000.
Okay.
I want you to talk a little bit about this. We talked about this yesterday, bro, about how Instagram, social media, it looks easy, right? Can you talk to them about some deals or some difficulties that you had in this real estate game and how you overcame it, to give some encouragement to the people who are trying to get into this game right now?
Absolutely. Just like in life, in relationship, business, there's no loyalty, right? And as long as you remember that there is no loyalty, it will keep your mind where it should be, on the end goal. So for us, it was, the only person I trust is the one that I share the bed with at night. So going into this, Dedric and I, if anyone haven't read the book, I was considered the visionary in our business, in our partnership. He's the integrator. So I'm the one who come up with the businesses, think of the things that they generate, and he figures out how to implement them. We, of course, along the way, Dedric is, and anyone who's ever seen our TV show, you know my husband is extremely frugal. So Dedric don't like to spend money on absolutely nothing, okay? Nothing. And definitely not the first time. Like, it has to be a whole conversation that happened. So a lot of that, you know, me being, the supportive wife, I'll have to, let, him lead it. And he'll say, oh, well, babe, I don't think we should do this just yet. And I'll be like, okay, all right. Knowing it's going to come back to bite us in the ass, right? I know it's going to come back around, but I'll say, okay, he's like, babe, that's $400. That's $400 right there.
$400, bro.
Listen. Now, fast forward. We are from Boston, like I said, live in North Carolina. When we got started, everybody said start with your backyard. So any of you guys who've been wholesaling, you've heard this before, start in your backyard, where how many of us do no longer live where we were born and raised, right? That's a majority of us, we're what they call transplants. So for us, we were in North Carolina, we were from Boston, did we actually have to be there to know that backyard? No. Somebody can send us a property, we know the neighborhood, we know the value of the property, we know how to get somebody over there, friends, family, you name it, to take pictures, what's needed to wholesale. And for us, starting out, we were a little too trusting in the beginning. So we done had wholesale deals where, you know, we, afraid of Dedrics, being not trusting, we had a sprint of his, but we said, hey, this is our third deal ever. We said, hey, could you go take pictures, talk to the owners? It was a squatter situation. Could you talk to the squatter, see if we can give him cash for keys, try to get him out? This guy went to the property, knocked on the door, nobody came. Called Dedric, hey, nobody came to the door. We was like, okay. He left. We contacted another friend, which is our realtor there. He went to the property, broke down the door, got in, saw the squatter, spoke to the squatter, wrote the contract up. Hey, we're gonna give you cash for keys this day, to get the property sold. This guy we ended up closing the deal. The owners lived in New Jersey. We ended up making, how much? $105,000 on this one deal. And it was our third wholesale deal.
No renovation.
And because we are people of our words and we operate in integrity, with integrity, we gave him $10,000.
Squatter?
No, the friend that was supposed to go and do the legwork.
Nice.
We gave him $10,000 for knocking on the door.
That's just like,
And then that same one came back around the next deal. He was supposed to put down $5,000 because he was like, hey, I got a friend, he wants it. We're like, listen, bro, we're gonna cancel this contract. We can't find anybody. No, I got a guy. I'm working on his funding. I got a guy. Don't worry about it. Hey, I'll pay the $5,000 if you lose it. Okay. Well, we lost it. The earnest money deposit, and he couldn't get the guy. So we're like, bro, we're at $5,000. No crickets.
ghost.
You can't get him on the phone, the horn, email, T-mail, or anything else. And I tell people, we went through Charlotte. Everyone who knows Charlotte, North Carolina is one of the most cutthroat areas to do real estate. We sat there and had a property under contract, sent the buyer over to take a look at the property. He went around us, went to the owner, contracted it with the owner, bought the property the day before we were supposed to close on it.
Wait, he backdoored you?
Backdoored it. And it was a $90,000 wholesale fee.
That's
That one was a $30,000 wholesale fee.
That's terrible right there.
So
That's a tough lesson.
you learn. I'm telling you, these lessons are hard, but it's important that you learn them, because after that, our mentor, ding, 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 our mentor told us about memorandum of contracts and putting them on the property. So the next person who tried to do it had to buy us out of the deal. He tried to do it and found out there was a lien on the property.
Paperwork makes the paperwork.
Yeah.
Gotta get your paperwork in order. So you guys have a couple of real estate deals under your belt.
And
Derek, talk to people how you got a TV show, because me and Damaris has been trying to get a TV show. Like, we've been to Netflix, we went out to LA, we not gonna do it, nobody answered. How did you get a TV show through Hulu? How'd that happen? How'd that fall in your laps?
It's really from being gurus. Like my wife said, we're not gurus. We actually still do real estate, and we love doing real estate, wholesaling, flipping houses, buying real properties. And we were going through our daily lives doing real estate, and producers would reach out to us, right, periodically about doing a TV show. And there's a lot of scammers out there. You guys probably know that in different industries. So we were like, I really don't know if this is legit. And this one producer from A&E kept reaching out, DMing us, but we wouldn't see the DMs. Our assistant was checking our DMs, and they called up one day trying to get us on the phone, and our assistant answered, and they like begged her, it's like, hey, can you promise to get this message to Krystal and Dedric? And she brought it to Krystal. She's like, Krystal, I promised this lady that I would get this message to you. She says she's a producer from A&E TV network, and they want to interview you guys to do a TV show. And this was like right after COVID. So Krystal was like, okay, we'll hop on the Zoom call. We don't know if it's legit or not. So we get on the Zoom call, and the lady's like, I understand. Listen, I'm the exclusive casting director for A&E networks. We saw your social media. We saw your Instagram, your YouTube channel. We love what you guys are doing, and we're starting a house flipping TV show, and we'd like to interview you guys. So we looked at each other, and we're like, okay, this seems legit. So we go through a series of interviews in the first Zoom call, because right after COVID, it's 3 or 4 executives from A&E on the call. They're asking us all these questions. What do you do? How do you do it? What's your business model? We're telling them. Next call, there's more executives on the call. Next call, there's more. So we're like, and we're very private. Krystal is like the FBI and the CIA had a baby. They birthed my wife. She don't play around. Super private. So her friends who've known her all her life, they're like, you got a TV show? Like, we don't even know where you live at. You on TV? She's that private. But and we had 2 young kids, so we weren't gonna actually do it. We didn't think we were gonna get picked to be on TV, because there's not many people that look like us on national TV flipping houses. So we were like, let's just go through the motions and see what happens. See what happens, right? We went through all these interviews, and at the end, they were like, hey, we would like to award you guys your own national TV show. And we looked at each other, we were like, well, damn, I guess we got to do it now. And it's been an incredible opportunity.
How many seasons are you in right now?
So we just finished season 2. Season 2 is on Hulu, on demand. If you got Apple TV, if you got Amazon Prime, you go watch 50/50 Flip on demand. And it also airs on A&E as well.
So I have my amazing social media person here, Sammy Henderson, who convinced me to get on YouTube, convinced me to get on TikTok, because I'm not on yet. So I got to start using these platforms. How have you leveraged social media and Hulu and A&E? How have you leveraged that to grow your business?
I did want to say, when you just asked the question, how did we get the show? And I know I heard being a pick right before us talking about social media and everyone taking their phone out, doing selfies. That is 100% true. How we actually got the show is because a mentor told us to start documenting our journey. Literally, he said, hey, you guys are great looking couples, start documenting your journey on social media, and you will never have a problem again with finding private investors, because that's what we were looking for, private investors.
Actually.
For our real estate deals. And from that is where all the TV networks started DMing us. So for anyone, it is not how most people think. Don't DM them, because they're not going to answer, right? Don't reach out to them. Don't go to a third party who says, hey, I gotta weigh in, I gotta plug. If you are doing what you love and you're documenting it, and it is something that people can use, something people can learn from, or there is an interest, a network will find you. I mean, without a doubt. They have people who do nothing but search the internet and watch what you do all day. Watch what people are doing all day for TV shows. And how we were able to leverage it. The only way we did the TV show really is for our education company, is to bring more awareness to, one, we said we're not going to be the millionth flipping show.
Right.
We're not house flippers, we are investors. And there's a huge difference, right? We show the more attainable version of flipping. So no, you're not doing $1 million flip. We ain't doing $1 million flip. We flip starter price point homes. And we do it in 50 days or less, spending $50,000 or less in renovation costs.
Sounds crazy. You're flipping in 50 days or less, that's the goal, 50,000 or less.
Yes.
That's your market, that's your niche, that's your aim.
Yes, in North Carolina. Yeah, right.
Can't do that in New York or Miami. I don't know what they talk about.
Exactly.
Right.
So we're doing it though also because we're providing a lot more affordable housing. So I know a lot of you guys who are from Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Texas, all of these areas where you do have smaller price point homes. neighborhoods that were, they call the hood, where you can go in and, you know, help gentrify. That's what we're doing, is really going into these neighborhoods, fixing up these homes, the old brick ranches that your grandmama and them grew up in, and I know I grew up in them, the old brick ranches, and we're renovating them, and we're providing that affordable housing back to our community, but we're also owning them. So the only reason why we got into real estate was to own it. Flipping, wholesaling is a job. It's a high-paying job, but it's a job. Flipping is a job. Owning assets, owning the long term is the true way to build wealth, generational wealth, something that outlives you. So we're building something that outlives us so our kids can benefit from it. I didn't get into real estate to wholesale for the rest of my life, right? That is the means. And we transitioned properly, right? For every 2 wholesale deals, we bought and held the property. We teach. And just to put it in perspective.
So wait, for every 2 wholesale deals, he kept the property. Write that down. Go ahead.
And to put it in perspective, people say, oh, well, this is just a $50,000 house. Well, I'll give you an example of one. We bought and held a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 900 square foot, 900 square foot home for $50,000. 2018, we bought it, rented it out for about 2 years, market rent. Then right after COVID ended, we turned it into a short-term rental for a year. Now that's 2018, the market appreciated some. My goal in life was always to own family entertainment centers. Family entertainment centers, what are those? Dave & Buster's, Top Golf, amusement parks, water parks. These are all places families will come. I always wanted to own a chain of those, right? So my husband said, listen, if we do this real estate thing, we can take the money from this and then invest into your dream. I said, okay, great. And how serious I was about this, because I don't play, if you don't know my myth. It was in my vows. So when we sat there and we looked at each other and we talked, the shit came out my mouth. In our vows. So he understood, we gonna do your little dream, baby, okay? We gonna do little real estate, but we gonna pivot and we gonna come back around to what I'm asking. I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna be 10 toes in. I don't care what we got to do. I don't care how dirty I gotta get. I'm in it with you. But paperwork make this.
The paperwork.
There we go. So even with us, there's contracts. There ain't an LLC that his name is on that mine ain't, and vice versa. So we don't need no prenup because you ain't had shit when I met you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right? I didn't have nothing when you met me.
It's crazy.
So what we build, we're gonna build together. But we bought this house, sold it 2022 for $219,000, $215,000. Bought it for $50,000. Oh, we had put some renovations in, about $30,000 in renovations into it. Sold it for $215,000. Took a portion of that, 6-figure profit. Took a portion of that and bought the franchise rights to Sky Zone for my area.
Oh, okay. Congratulations. That's crazy. So you made this happen.
So yeah, just to put that in perspective, guys, Sky Zone is the biggest trampoline park brand in the world. They got 300 plus locations. Like my wife said, her dream is to own a chain of family entertainment centers. So we took this one single family house and we cleared a 6-figure profit. When we sold it, we took 60 grand, brought the franchise fee for Sky Zone. And what we're doing now is we're getting an SBA loan, Small Business Association loan. It circles back to credit. The SBA will finance the purchase of a franchise, a business, a building like this, small business. That's why I keep your credit good. You got bad credit, you're recurring so we can fix it. This is a 40,000 square foot building that we're gonna be building in the next 12 to 24 months. $5 million project, but because of the SBA loan, we only gotta put down 15%. So we put down 15%, we can build a $5 million Sky Zone that's gonna produce about $800,000 a year net profit after all expenses. So that's how you flip from real estate to business using your credit.
That's exciting. You definitely click that up because that's exciting right there. I want to wrap up the podcast because I know you guys got to fly out here and get back to the fan thing. And I end every episode with the same question, right? And you guys kind of almost went into it. You're building something amazing right now. 10, 15, 20 years from now, where do you want to be? When we rewind this episode, and I'm going to hold you accountable on the Execute podcast, you said you was going to do this. Where do you want to be?
So for me, great question. I want to have been able to transition from real estate into more buying businesses at this point, right? And I also want to make sure my kids are everything to me. So I love doing and being them. So I want to make sure that I live still continuously a lifestyle where I can continue to be there for them on my own time. That is the biggest thing for me. I am a philanthropist at heart. So my husband tells people if I could give it all away, I would. And it is true. My true joy is really helping other people. So if you need something, if there's information I can get, like I'll just randomly be on social media and see someone ask a question and I'll DM them the person that they need to contact. They don't know who I am or anything, but for me, my true happiness is being able to help someone else. And I tell people it's not about how many doors Dedric and I own. It's about how many doors we can open for another individual to be able to walk through and change the trajectory of their family tree. And we don't bullshit with that. Like, we came from the hood, we grew up in the hood, Section 8, single parent households, we came from generational poverty. I tell people you are not going to erase it, but you can change it. And that's what we did. We're not erasing our generational poverty because there are still family members of ours that are still going through generational poverty. You have too many generations of it, but you can't change it. So for me, it is really more so moving into the philanthropy aspect of life and being able to give back more to individuals. And hopefully, wrapping up the TV show, we still do have another 2 more years of it, but really just transitioning. Oh, and then we're starting our own production company.
Let's go.
So we do, and it's a lot easier to get your foot through the door when it's already in there. So we launched our production company. We're actually starting production on the very first TV show. And then we have another 2 more in the works. So anyone who have any TV ideas, definitely submit them to us.
The parents, pay attention.
Because we are looking to bring more individuals into the TV space. So that is my goal, is to then transition into production on the other side, which is what my goal was from the beginning.
If anybody wants to reach out to you guys, I know you guys are doing mentorship. Can you tell the people how they can reach you, your social media, where they can find you, email, whatever?
Yes, if you guys can't tell, super passionate, just like Herman is, with just sharing information, because this information that we learned on real estate and financial independence allowed us to become free. So if anyone wants to reach out to us, Instagram, Be Polite Properties, look us up on Instagram, send us a DM. YouTube, Be Polite Properties, is Dedric and Krystal Polite. But definitely reach out to us any way we can help you guys. We're actually doing a free masterclass this Tuesday on how to get into real estate. So feel free to reach out to us, and we're glad to help. And we appreciate you, Herman. Thank you for having us on.
And I'd like to say one more thing, because we do have some of our mentees here as well, and they will tell you, we tried to make our program what we did not like. Stay away from what we did like when we were a coaching program. So our time is extremely limited, yes, but you actually get us. So that's what I like when I watch you, is they're getting you, right? Because we've been in mentorships where you never see the person that you're buying into, right? Anybody else been in those, seen those mentorships that you'd enjoy, and you're like, wait a minute, where's Chip and Joanna? Hey, why I got Chris and Tamala? Like, so for us, we said we're not going to do it until we have the time to actually be there. And they'll tell you it's us who they get. It's us when they're needing someone to come and close this deal before they lose it. They're shooting an email to the team. If if Dedric isn't on it, I'm on it. Dedric's hopping on the call, negotiating these buy and hold or these wholesale deals. In between filming, in between business, in between traveling, we'll be on the road, not to take the stage on a TV show. And Dedric's talking to students like, hey, okay, here's the numbers. Run these numbers again. This is what you should get. So I think it's very important to let people know we are not people who are going to tell you what you want to hear. We're going to tell you what you need to hear, right? So why? Because we believe in people. If you come to us and you haven't done a deal, that's a problem. We take that personal, just like you. Don't sit in our face and be like, oh yeah, what's his business credit? Yeah. But you sit there, you're not going to invest, you're not going to do shit, and then you want to go back and tell somebody else, I didn't really get much out of it. What did you follow the steps? Like, you have personal contact with us. Do you not have contact with us personally to make sure, because we don't want people sitting there if we know we have the information so that your kids may never have to work again, right?
I appreciate that so much. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please give it up for the future billionaires, Dedric and Krystal Polite. Thank you for coming on the podcast today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.